Good morning, you amazing people, and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert, phenomenal speaker, and Judy Copenbarger. How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm
Money
fine.
whisperer. I love that. I love that. I am doing fantastic. Just got back from a wonderful 2 conferences back to back and ready to
All
go.
right.
How about you, Carlos? What's going on in your life?
I'm doing fantastic. I always look forward to our show because, every time we finish the show, things come up that it's like, okay, folks, you can turn into this episode or you can watch this episode and actually help people a lot of ways. And it goes without saying, folks that have been watching you consider you the money whisperer. I mean, the level of wisdom and everything you've shared, you really break it down for folks and you walk away with answers rather than more questions. So that's what's exciting about this show, folks. If you're just joining us, welcome to the show. Please make sure you're following Judy at judycopenbarger.today. Today, we are talking about why more income doesn't always fix our cash problem. So many people believe earning more money usually solves your financial stress, but higher income does not always lead to that stronger financial stability. So what do you say we get started, Judy? Because I'm dying to know and ask you so many questions.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I love this topic. This is real for people, for sure.
Awesome. So why do so many people believe that earning more money is going to solve the financial problems?
Yeah, well, money does make us more comfortable. It gives us more options, more choices, but it doesn't really bring happiness. And I know people that have very little and they just love life. They love their lives. They just, are full in so many ways. And around the world too, but I mean like right here. And then I know people that have lots and lots and lots of money, but they're so stressed and it's like everything in your life impacts every other area of life. And so if their family's out of whack or their job's out of whack or the impact on the community is out of whack, like they don't have purpose, if they're not happy in their work, if whatever it is, maybe everything in life is great, health is great and everything's great, but their home environment's not good. I kind of picture that hoarder show. Remember that hoarder show with the people that just and once one area of life goes, the rest goes and it impacts everything else. And so for some people they think, oh, money will fix it. I mean, it does make us more comfortable and it can help us get options that we need for health. It can help us get options that we need for lifestyle, but it doesn't necessarily bring happiness. So I think if your question was about how, all your financial problems will be solved if you have no more money. That's not true because what goes in and what goes out also need to line up. And I know people that are very broke at a very high level, right? Cash flow is
Yeah, no,
not
you're
there.
right.
They're always struggling. They just can't make ends meet and they're always stressed about money because there's not enough. And they might have $1 million income. I know these people. It's like, how do you not make it on $1 million? But you can, we might get into a little bit of the why if we have time, but it's a real thing. It really is a real thing.
So let's talk a little bit about the why, right? We're all every aspect of our lives, people are in different seasons is what a word I like to use. So some are doing great with a little bit, some are doing awful with a lot, right? Like we talked about. But why doesn't higher income automatically create that financial stability?
Well, because what goes out matters, right? You can have a small vessel of water and a large vessel of water, but if the tap is still running out faster than it's coming in, it's not sustainable. And it doesn't matter if it's a little tiny or a cup of water or 55 million gallons of water. It's the same thing financially. So it's how it goes out. And it's, I always say getting money is easy in this country. Anybody can get money. You could, make bracelets and go down to the beach and sell. I mean, you can do something. Everybody has gifts and talents. They can do something to get money. It's how you manage it that is the art, and the skill. There's a science to it as well. But it's what you do with it and the tax part, right? How you keep more of what actually comes in, what you earn. Those are a big deal. So it's not just that you have more, it's what you do with it. And you can be broke at a very high level. And so that means your expenses are going out faster. The vessel is emptying faster than it's filling up.
You know what? It actually, let me follow up with something like that too, because it seems also that I mean, you've been in this industry forever. You touched a lot of lives in different ways, right? Different businesses and so forth. You've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. What patterns do you see when people increase income but still feel like they're just so financially stressed out?
Oh, it's that creep. It's, you can call it personal inflation, or you could call it, um, lifestyle inflation. It's I have a little bit nicer car now, I feel like I can afford it. I have a little nicer home now, I feel like I can afford it. I put nicer things in my little home that that before I wouldn't even think about. It was all like secondhand, or it was all Walmart, and now it's like, oh, I have a designer sofa. And so even though the income has gone up, so has your lifestyle. And of course, you have a nicer car. Now you got a little bit more upkeep, a little bit more insurance cost, all of that. So all of it just kind of elevates as we get more money. So if you get more money and your expenses don't go up, you're not having that lifestyle inflation. And so you're going to feel like, oh, I'm accumulating now. But some people, just for some reason, and I'm not this way. So I see it a lot. I don't really understand it. I know it's a real thing, but I don't understand it. Why you would want to always outspend your income. And I say a lot of people struggle with that. Like, I have more, I want to spend more, I want to spend more. Part of it might be marketing, because oh man, every day there's like 10,000 marketing opportunities, right? That they say just, is constantly in our brain. And branding, and just like buy more, you'll smell good, you'll look good, you'll be popular, whatever it is. And so that's coming at us. The other thing is maybe just wanting to, pride. I want to keep up with the Joneses. I want to keep up with the Smiths and the Johnses, everybody else.
Right.
And maybe there's some of that. And we see that here. I'm here in Orange County. So on the coast, you have a little bit more of that, just kind of, and it's not like necessarily purposefully one upping, but it's like, they've got a nice lawn. I want a nice lawn. They've got a pretty dog. I want a designer dog. They've got it's like I need more, more, more. And there's plenty of opportunities for money to go out with the marketing and the expense. We have so much. You go to other countries and the grocery store is very small, and there's one or two options for toothpaste, and there's one or two options for laundry soap, and there's one or two options for bread. Here you go, and there's, walls and walls and pallets of stuff, and every kind of brand and every kind of color of everything you'd ever want. And if you can't find it at the store, you just have them bring it to your door in a truck. I mean, we have so much. So it's easy to spend more than comes in. I think it takes purposefulness and intention to not do that. And more for some people than others. Just it's based on habits. So that was a long-winded answer. But yes,
No,
don't spend
but
more than
actually,
you'll be okay.
I don't know if you've heard. So recently, I've heard that term of lifestyle inflation, which to me
Yeah.
didn't really make sense. But
Mhm.
talk about how does that lifestyle inflation affect that long-term financial progress, or even planning for that?
It's just that you fill the gaps, right? I make more money, but now I have a nicer car. So the extra $300 or $400 I had a month now is going into insurance and a car payment, right? I make a little bit more money, but now, we have a nicer apartment, or we upgraded our house, got a little bit bigger house with a bigger yard and a bigger dog. You kind of fill in the gaps of what grows. And so increasing income isn't just the thing, it's you're spending more to match that, or even go beyond it if you're not careful. So that lifestyle inflation can just blow you up. I mean, it doesn't mean you shouldn't improve your life and get better, as you go through life. And most people do have a curve that increases with their earnings. But if you don't fill it all in with current expenses, and every time you get a raise, part of it goes toward your future, maybe increase your 401k contributions, add to an IRA, maybe you weren't before, but part of my raise will go there. The other part I'll put into a nicer car or something. It's just balancing the money that you need for now, soon, and later, always.
What's interesting is I remember this over the years. There's a lot of folks I came across, which for them, it's appearance was everything, right? They can live in a really crappy apartment in the worst neighborhood ever, but they have to drive the fanciest car. So all of their money's just tied into a car, or, in a fancy place, but you drive a crappy car, but, vice versa. But, and that's something I think that you're really hitting on that we really need to pay attention to, right? So, I would ask you is what should people focus on instead of just increasing that income?
Well, what I just mentioned, I think is helpful, thinking about what is this increase for? So now I have an extra $10,000 a year, in income or $20,000 a year. Why don't we put part of it toward our lifestyle? Something I've really always wanted to drive that car. And I'm never going to tell somebody you can't have that car, right? If that's your heart's desire, that's your biggest goal, let's make it happen. Maybe you want to upgrade your kitchen. Maybe you want to take a trip or take the family to Hawaii or something. Do it. But you also want to balance the extra income that's coming in with things that you're going to need in the future for future goals, for future rainy day money, and then long term as well, right? Because most of us are going to live many, many years after we stop working full time. Most of us will do that statistically. Are we going to be able to enjoy those years, or is it going to be penny pinching? And you get to choose, right? And if you're under 50, 55, even 60, you have time to choose what that lifestyle is going to be like later. And for a lot of people, Social Security is fine. Their house is paid off and they just need money for, basic expenses. For other people, they're like, how could I possibly live on that? There's no way I could maintain this house or this lifestyle with, the basic Social Security. So how are you going to fill the gap? That's where part of that money right now that's coming in needs to go for the future. Let it grow. Yeah, and the younger you are, the more time you have for that to really leverage well. And then you'll have what you need later.
It's as oh, folks, and welcome again. If you're just joining us for the first time, I get so enthralled in these great conversations because you're learning so much. Make sure you're following Judy at judycopenbarger.today. There's a lot of great resources. A lot of them are free, folks. So please make sure you take advantage of that as well too. But I'm fascinated in this topic because it's something that hits everybody every day. Without sometimes we see it, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we get caught by surprise. Um, but I want to ask you also, because I know we're getting closer to the end of the show, and just as a reflection moment, like, why do you think people tie financial success to income instead of just habits and systems?
Well, income is measurable. Your income is 85,000, my income is 150,000. I win. Right? It's measurable. Habits, not so much. Systems, not so much. You don't really see them. It's behind the scenes. And everybody has a habit and everybody has a system. Are they serving us well or not? Right? You have habits, you have systems. You might say, oh, I don't have any. You do. They're just maybe not serving you well. Maybe they're not intentional. Maybe they're not planned out and organized, but you have them. We all have habits. We all do life a certain way. And the thing about habits is they are very impactful. And the thing about habits is they are very changeable, very amendable, and we can make a new one. They say 21 days. The experts tell us they do the same thing, stop chewing gum or start saving money or exercising, whatever it is. After 21 days, take your vitamins, whatever it is, you'll have a new habit. So it doesn't take long to totally turn around a habit that you have or a system you have that is not serving you well. But it's also really, really easy to say, what isn't working? And what could I do more, better, and different to make it work? Because I've been here before. I feel like I'm not saving enough. I'm overspending. I got a raise and poof, where did it go? It feels like it's tighter than it was before. I've been here before. What system can I put in place? What new habit can I create purposefully to move forward and free that up a little bit where I'm saving more and I feel like I'm more successful financially?
What would you say is just very briefly? Can you think of a current example with you've had to deal with this? Because I know throughout your career you've dealt with again the good, the bad, and the ugly with folks. But what's something recent that kind of stands out for you tying into this?
Well, there's a couple I may have mentioned before that just stands out in my mind that they live very, very well. They both have commission incomes very, very high. So they're kind of at this $1 million a year mark. Most years they make that or more. And they just struggle to save. They struggle. It just poofs. And part of it's lifestyle, part of it's in lifestyle inflation, not inflation, economic inflation, but their own. Now I need a bigger bike. Now I need a faster bike. Now I need a better car. Now I need a bigger trip. Well, my rich friends are taking this trip. I need to go too. I don't want to be the one that can't afford to go, right? So there's this lifestyle creep or this lifestyle inflation that just has them spending way more even in those years where they have bumper years and they do really, really well in their business. That that's just really sad. That's just really sad. And it's a little trickier for people that have success because they can just go get more, right? But what if the economy turns? They happen to be in the real estate business. Some years there's just not a lot going on. Other years, boom, So, um, what do you do in the meantime when you have those years that are a little bit skinnier, without having to say no to everything and being very unhappy in the process? Right? You just got to plan for that. So it's possible. You just got to always put money now and money later.
I think it also comes down to priorities, right? You talked about that before. Like, what is really your priority?
Mhm.
Especially if you have families involved, or if it's just single or whatever it is, there's always that priority, right?
Right. And I'm a planner, so I'm looking for sustainability. If what you're spending right now, if what you're saving and what your plan is with your expenses and your line items is not sustainable, we're going to have a chat about that. So I'm always looking for what if, and if that what if happened, if that contingency in life occurred, are you still going to be okay? That's what good planning does. And you want all of the what ifs that could be really, really bad. If the world's on fire and underwater at the same time, are you still going to be okay? Is your family going to be okay? And that's what good planning will do for you. And that's what I get to do with people.
That's awesome. And folks, we are at the tail end of the show, and you know what that means. Money Tree Challenge. And what have you got for us?
I like to and reflect on your current spending, and just look over the last 5 or 10 years. Your income has likely gone up, right? Maybe substantially, maybe just with inflation and raises and things like that. But just ask yourself, have I allowed myself for my lifestyle inflation to outpace my income? As I've increased my life and maybe bought nicer outfits or did nicer trips, has that gone beyond what my earnings have, or am I staying kind of in that lane? That would be a great thing to reflect about, and maybe make some notes if you journal, make some notes about that and go, well, what could I do to rein that in? Or what plan could I put in place for my next raise or my next bonus? What will I do with that might serve me longer time, more sustainably and better than what I've done in the past? That's your challenge.
All right, folks, you've heard the challenge. And as always, if you have any topics that you would like Judy to cover, please let us know. Send us a message. And remember, we are here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. with the replays on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Follow Judy at judycopenbarger.today. You can find links to all of her content, a lot of resources, a lot of great videos. You can subscribe to her podcast as well. And any last parting words, Judy?
Oh, just watch it. Every day we make financial choices and financial decisions. Just watch it. Do them purposefully, not habitually. And that'll serve you well and make it a great week.
All right, folks, until next week, be safe, and we'll talk to you later.